In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to set up a basic frontline map with kill objectives, fortifications, and 3 points. The first thing you want to do before you start working on your map is create a modded folder. Go up to the mod manager, click new mod, and name it whatever you want. I already created one here, so we'll get started on the base level. For most of the dev maps, they create a base level that just has the level itself without any code in it, without any player starts or anything. So create the base level. This one's going to be called Tutorial Frontline. And we open it up. Okay, so I'm going to create this. Okay, once you have the base map finished, make sure to include the customization spot, the weapon customization spot, and the base customization spot. These will allow you to set where the character first shows their customization. After all that's done, you want to right-click in your folder, create a new level, and this one's going to have the prefix of FL for Frontline. So it'll be FL tutorial FL for me. Now, I'm going to open up this map. It'll be completely black in the very beginning, but you want to go to Window up in the corner, then click on Levels. This will allow us to sub-level our base level and create the game mode settings on that. So you just click on the main level, drag it into the levels tab, and it'll pop up. But we want to make sure that the persistent level is always checked. Right here you could see that the level is now tutorial FL, which is the base level. So if I modify anything here, it'll modify the base level, not the main persistent level that we want. So double click on that, and then you want to right click the tutorial FL, or whatever your base level is, and then change the streaming method to always loaded. Make sure it's selected again, then you want to save everything. So now we can edit this level without changing anything on the main base level. Now we want to go into the world settings and set up the game mode. For this one, it's going to be Frontline. And it should auto-populate. Okay, so the first game mode related thing that we're going to do is set up the capture points. Just go up to the place actor section and search up capture point. I'm going to put mine up with 3 points. There's going to be one on each side and then a center point. Actually, okay, so those are the 3 capture points for both the teams. We're going to say this side with the equipment customization stuff is going to be our blue side, and then this side is going to be our red side. You'll see a lot of these, a lot of the frontline related stuff have a team section. So the owning team for this is going to be our red team, which red is 0. Blue is 1. It sets to 255 as the default because that would be the center point. So 255 is going to be our uncaptured point. Nobody possesses it in the very beginning. So I'm going to set this to 0. We're going to keep this to 255. And then we're going to set this to 1. So, okay, to set up the points, the chain of points, so who can capture which one next, we need to go into the Team 0 and Team 1 prerequisite points, and we need to select one of these. So let's say the blue point over here, which is going to be our 1, there's going to be no prerequisites for it. But for the Team 0, we want the center point to be a prerequisite. And then we can do the same with this one, but with Team 1, we want to make sure that they have to capture this one first before they can capture this one. And then 0 for the red team. For this one, we want Team 0, which is red, to have this one captured. And then for this one, we want the first one as well. So now we have it set up that they can capture this one. This one's going to be captured by default, and then they have to go to this one to capture this one. And same with the blue team. Okay, so now we're going to set up spawn points, and they are called player start. So we want to make sure to select the BP underscore Mordhau player start. This one we'll use in a little bit. So we just set it up in a way that that we'd want them to start on. I'd set it up right behind the points. Actually, it's always good to name the first player start for each team something red. Okay. Then we could just copy them. Okay. So now we go over to our blue side, and we're going to set the starting points. Okay. This one's going to be blue. Then we just copy and paste them. Alright, so that's our first line of player starts. Whenever they first start the game, they're going to spawn there. Next, we want to set the teams for each one of them. Probably should do this before you copy them, but you could just select them all and it doesn't really matter. So for our blue team, we want to make sure that we set it as 1. And then for our red team, we want to make sure you set it as 0. So now the red team will always spawn on this side, and the blue team will always spawn on this side. Okay, so next we're going to set up the secondary points. So once they capture this one, they're going to have their own set of spawns. So instead of spawning all the way back here, they can now spawn in the center somewhere. So let's do the red ones first. Okay, just going to copy all these. Then we're going to move them right up here, maybe a little bit back. And then we're going to do the same for the blue. That looks a little bit fair. Okay, so now we need to tie these spawn points to the points. So we click on our capture point. We want to scroll down and find spawn points. So we're going to add 4 for this one. For the center one, we're going to add 8 because we have 4 blue and 4 red. And do the same for the last point. Next, we're going to set up some fortifications. Just go into the place actors and search up fortification. I think we're just going to do the palisade. I'm not exactly sure which way it goes. So we'll just place it there for right now. Then we'll copy and paste it. We'll place another one on this side. So in the Palisades, you want to set them to the team. Owning team. So this one we're gonna set it to blue because I think it's pointed the other way. And then for this one, we're gonna set to 0. So now that we have some objectives placed in the map, we're gonna go ahead and add the camera map actors so that we can test it out correctly. So map camera actor right here. We're just going to, let's just drag it to the center. Usually like to have it way up in the air. Okay. You want to make sure that I can see the entire map. And you can adjust the FOV on the camera as well. Right now it's at 36. But I think this will work fine. So we get it centered, and then we copy it, and we paste it again, and then we put another one next to it. So one of these is going to be our red camera, and the other is going to be our blue camera. So by default, it sets to red. And then this one we want to set to 1 for blue. So now that we have our spawn points, we have some points, and then we have some fortifications, we can go ahead and test this out. Okay, that's looking good. Let's join the red team. Customization spot's working. And the camera actor is working good as well. So you can see here, red team. Oh. Okay, yeah. You saw that you can select just the red team, and that center point is nobody's because it hasn't been captured yet. This one, because we set it as ours to start with, is already red captured. And these are the Palisades. And if we walk to the center circle, red team starts capturing. And because there are only 3 points here, once I capture this one and go and capture this one, the map will be over. Okay, so next we're going to set up our kill objectives. For this tutorial, I'm just going to set up one kill objective, and it's going to be on the blue side. So we're going to search up Noble, and it'll just be the Mall Noble. Okay, I want to rotate him the correct way. And we don't want him to be floating. Okay, now he's right on the ground. There are 4 main things that need to be set up for the kill objective for the Noble to work correctly. The first thing is the navigation working on your map. So here I have a nav mesh bounds. And what that does is just allows the NPCs to walk around. If I move this, you'll see that the navigation is rebuilding. For this map, it's a pretty quick process, but if you have larger maps, the navigation can take a little while to build. The second thing is to set the patrol points for the Noble to walk to. So here, there's 13 total points. We're going to remove some of these, and I'm just going to add 3. So to place the patrol points, just want to search for patrol, and I want him to walk here, over to here, Actually, I'll just copy these so they're in a straight line. And then we want to go right in between. A little triangle. The third thing is to set up the wrapper, which is assigned to the point. So what it does is it assigns we assign the wrapper to the kill objective, and then we assign the wrapper to the point. And for this, you just need one. So I'm going to place it just right inside of the box. Okay, so let's start out by assigning the points, control points, to the kill objective. So the first one's here, second one, and our third one. Then there is another one, home point, so where he's gonna first start out. There are other variables to change, like the engagement distance. So if the enemy walks 2,000 units close to him, he will go that far away from his main point. So let's say each one of these are 10, 15 units. He'll walk about over to here before he has to go back. So he won't chase somebody all around the map. For this, since it's such a small map, I'm going to set it to 1,000. 1,000 from this patrol point. Okay. Now we're going to go into... So now we're going to go into the point. And somewhere at the very top, you'll see kill. This is going to be that wrapper that we talked about. And then in the wrapper, this one right here, we're going to assign the noble. Okay. The last main thing inside of the noble that you want to change is the is allowed out of bounds. So if you don't set up bounds for your map, I'm guessing it makes everything out of bounds for these nobles. So if I started this right now, he would basically be damaging himself over and over and over again. And unless he's possessed, he can't die by going out of bounds, but it just makes a horrible noise. So is allowed out of bounds because in this map there are no map bounds. You do want to set up map bounds. There's the out of bounds mesh, which we'll get to in just a bit. But there's also the kill objective containment box. So this one will work if the character is possessing the kill objective, and the character wouldn't be able to go out of here unless they wanted to die. So this is just set up for player controlled kill objectives. And it's super easy to set up. All you do is find the kill objective and apply it to that. But for this tutorial, we're not going to. Okay, so once we have that set up, we can go ahead and test out how the noble reacts. Okay, since I'm not allowing this kill objective to be possessed by a player, you want to make sure that you disable the offer players to possess, because if you don't disable it, he won't attack whenever you get to the last point. He'll just walk around and do what he does. Now we're going to set up the out of bounds boxes for everybody. So this is the regular out of bounds box that applies to every character on the map. So I want to line just both sides with an out of bounds box. Okay, so now they won't be able to run outside of this center portion right here. You can see that the out of bounds box actually affected the navigation as well. So even the noble won't be able to go out here. The next one is spawn protection boxes. So for the frontline version, it's just spawn protection box. The push is for the invasion. So just select it, and we are going to put this one right in the very beginning. We don't want it to cover up the point because the opposite team wouldn't be able to capture this. So here it says allowed team. We want to set this one to 0 because it's red. And then we want to copy this, bring it over to this side. And we want to set it to 1 for blue. And the color will change as well. Okay, at this point, the map is basically done. There are a few other little things, like the camera start. This camera right here. So right now, it's just set as 0, 0, 0 in the world. We want to change it to a place that we can get a better view. So if we go into spectate, the camera's just set up right here, and we don't want that. To set the default camera, we want to go into the place actors and get a player start. This one right here, the gray one, we want to place this one in the map, and wherever the front point is pointing, that's going to be where our camera is. So I want this one to point up and directly over the center point. Rotate it down a little bit. Actually, let's bring it up some more. Okay, yeah, that looks like it's about aiming at the point. Now, once we have this set up, we want to go to the team and set this as -1. Now we can test out how the camera looks by playing in editor. And that looks perfect. You can see the entire map from here. Well, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching the entire tutorial. Go ahead and leave a like if it helped you out in any way. Leave some suggestions down in the comments or questions. I try to answer them as quick as I can. And have a good one.